Hi everybody, welcome back to my Apache stack journey. In this video, we will tackle with configuring Apache. Uh, we will be configuring this for hosting two sites. So we will look first we will be looking into the default configuration, and second we will see how to see the configuration to host multiple sites. But even before that, we need to register our domain name so that when we access that our domain name, it actually target our server IP address. To do that, first I have used this Namecheap. I will be using Namecheap and I will be registering my site here. So so first of all, let me delete I will delete these triggers which I don't need at the moment. So let me grab the IP address of my server. This is the IP address of my server. Okay, so we need to add a record. So the first the site we want to host, let's say it's site1 .provinkc.com. provinkc.com is my domain name, and that will point to this IP address. I save this here. And the second site we are hosting, let's say example, that is site2, and that point to my IP address here, and we save this here. So basically now we should be able to, we are hosting two sites, site1.provinkc.com and site2.provinkc.com. so two sites, but they are both running in the same server. Okay, let's access our server if we can. So let me log out from this my server. Before, I used to access like this SSH admin at this IP address. If that domain name is propagated, I should be able to access a site1.provinkc.com. Okay, just a moment, I need to do something. Okay, let me access admin site1.provinkc.com. we can see it's asking for the yes and no. Yes, and we are in. Isn't that good? Okay, let me log out and let me log in as site2.provinkc. And okay, again I need to run this again. Okay, site2.provinkc, and we have access. That's good. So how to now let's configure Apache to host these two sites. Before that, we need to install Apache. Okay, so apt, maybe let me make the screen bigger. Apt install Apache 2. Oh, my bad. Sudo apt install Apache 2. Okay, So now what I want to do is, I'm really curious, if I access my server, let's say at the server IP, what do I get? If I go HTTP and I can visit site2.provincekc, I get this. And if I visit HTTP site1.provincekc, I get this. And if I go to my IP address of my server, so this is the server IP address, HTTP, I get this. Okay, so that looks good. But right now we are hosting the same web page for the two different domain name, but we want to make sure they corresponds to the different sites. Okay, let's get out of this. So you might be wondering, how are we getting this default page? This is because of the default configuration. So let's change this default configuration. Right now I want to show you where does this default configuration come from, or where is the configuration file that actually control this default nature. So that's I will show you where to get that. So let's go to cd /c Apache 2, and there we should be able to see sites available. So let's go to sites available, and we can see there are two files. So this is the default configuration. Okay, so let me cat this default configuration here. As you can see, it says server admin and then document root. So anything in this directory path will be hosted. So if we go back to this directory, we should be able to see the file that we accessed before, var html, and you can see there is a file index.html. That file was getting served. So what you can do right now is, just to play with this, we can delete this. Yeah, sudo rm. Okay, I deleted the file, and if I go and access, it should show nothing. There's nothing, right? That's right. Now what I want to do is, I will create a new file, sudo nano index.html. I want to call it, this is a default web page by Apache. Let me save this. And now if I go to the and just I should be able to see this. This is getting hosted right now. There's one more thing I want to show you. Let's say what happens if I have, okay, right now I have a index.html, but I want to make index.php to take precedence over index.html. So what I'm saying is, let's say I have an index.php here, sudo nano index.php, and let's say this is index.php file, and this file will take the precedence when root directory is accessed. Okay, so right now we have a two file here, index HTML and index PHP. But I want to make sure when we access the root directory like this, http, and provide the provide here the IP address, or let's say site 1, site 2, no matter at this case. If we hit this, I want that PHP to be to appear here. So what I need to do here to make that happen? So there's a configuration we need to change. Sudo nano, that's in etc Apache hit tab, and in the mods available, in the mods available, there's a file called .conf, and here in the directory index.html is listed first. That's why it takes the first precedence. If you want index.php to take the first precedence, I can write it here at first, index.php, and let's remove this from here and save it. And to make this change effective, let's restart the Apache server. Sudo service Apache to restart. Now, so if I access the root directory, I should be getting the content from that index.php. See, this is index.php file, and this file will take the precedence when you read to access. That's true, right? That's happened. Now, so if we just put the content at var www.html, we can only host one site, but we want to host multiple sites. So for that, we need to configure it. Okay, now I will show you how to configure for that. Let's create the first site, which is site1.provinkc.com. For that, I will create the directory in the same var www path. For that, sudo mkdir p bar www and in the place in this, now here we need to create the directory for our site. Call it site1.provinkc.com, and let's create that directory. Okay, now after we created this directory, what we can do is change the owner to the Apache. So what you can do is sudo chown recursively to data to the owner, the group for bar w site 1, and we also need to give the appropriate permission. So sudo chmod recursively. Now we don't need to do that. Recursively. So our the owner can do everything, and read and execute for group 55 var www site 1. Okay, we created this site1.provinkc.com. So now what we need to do is, let's put a file there. Sudo nano var www site 1. I will call it index.php and called this is a site 1. Okay, let's create now another same directory but site 2 for site 2. So what we do is sudo mkdir var www site2.pravinkc.com, and let's do the same thing here. Just instead of site 2, oops, and this one. Okay, that looks good. Let's see what we have. ls-l var www, and we can see we have one directory for the site 1 and another directory for site 2. Let's put the file in site 2 as well. So sudo nano var www site 2, call here index.php, call it this is a site 2. Now we have the directory, root directory for two sites, site 1 and site 2. So but we need to do few more steps here to make when access the site 1 we want to render the content from here. When access site 2 we want to render the content from here. For that, we need to do a few more steps. So this is what we need to do. Sudo copy in etc there is Apache 2 is a sites available, and there is a default file configuration. Let's copy that to the same directory, Apache 2 sites available, and call that site1.pravinkc.com.conf, and let's do the same thing, but we will call it for site 2. Yeah. Now let's get to that directory. I will just go cd etc Apache 2 sites available. Yeah. So let's update for site 1, sudo nano site 1. So let's delete this. Yeah, the server name is, we need to write the server name here. The server name is site1.pravinkc.com server, and this is what we need to change. Root directory now it's not anymore HTML, but the root document root is now site1.pravinkc.com. and save this, and let's do the same thing for site 2. The server name is site2.pravinkc, site2.pravinkc.com, and document root will be changed. It's not HTML, it's site2.pravinkc.com. Save the configuration. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to disable the default one and enable the new site. Okay. Then we should be able to host virtualized host from here. So to do that, sudo apache to disable site. Yeah, that's been disabled. Let's enable in Apache to enable site 1. that's been enabled. Again, sudo Apache to enable site 2. Yeah, so we enable 2 site. Let's reload our Apache. Sudo systemctl reload Apache to service. Let's see if the service is running. Sudo systemctl status Apache 2 is active and running. That's good. Let's try to access the server. So before I access this from outside, I want to try from inside. What happens? Call http site1 pravinkesi.com. This is site 1. That's good. Let's try http site2.pravinkesi.com. Yes, site2.pravinkesi.com. What happened? Call http site2.pravinkesi.com. Yeah, this is the site 2. That looks good. Fantastic. So we configure Apache to host 2 site. That's amazing. So what we need to do now is accessing from a browser. Let's go to our browser and let's try accessing the site 1. http site1.pravinkesi.com. This is the site 1. Let's access from here. Site 2 site2.pravinkesi.com. This is site 2. So this is how we can configure the leverage this configuration to host multiple sites. So this completes the configuration for Apache. In the next video, I will show you through using PHP, server-side scripting language, to generate the web content and the configuration required for PHP to hosting the web application using PHP. So let's see you in the next video.